divided into many periods. First is the Old English. Old English is the period where English started to evolve. Second is Middle English. It is where English became famous throughout Europe and throughout the world. Tudor lyric poetry is where poetry with regards to the Tudor family or the family that ruled United Kingdom was started to evolve and was started to be created. Epic poetry is the period when epic poetry or poetry with regards to heroes and heroic acts was developed and made. Prose fiction is the period where prose literature or essays with fiction with regards to fiction was developed and written. And the Victorian novels, the period which during the rule of Queen Victoria, it was divided into two. The Dickens period, or the period where Charles Dickens became famous, and the beginning of American literature, or literature that uses the American English language. And the final and the current period of the Anglo-American literature is the modern literature from the 20th century.
Old English. During these times, the most prominent epic story, Beowulf, was written. It contains 3,182 alliterative lines. At its only surviving manuscript is the Noel Codex.
Beowulf tells about the story of a hero named Beowulf, who is a knight, or is a warrior, who went to the land of the Danes to fight Grendel, a monster that has been ravaging their country. He won, then he became king in their land. Then the mother of Grendel appeared. He fought with the mother of Grendel, and he died. Yes, he died, but his heroism was remembered in Beowulf, one of the most treasured books in Anglo-American literature.
Middle English. The great name in English literature in that time is Geoffrey Chaucer, the author of famous Canterbury Tales. He introduces the iambic pentameter line.
Geoffrey Chaucer during the Middle English is the most prominent English writer. Here we can see the picture. First is Beowulf, the most greatest Anglo-Saxon literature and the first Anglo-American literature. And second, this is an excerpt from the Canterbury Tales, a story which tells about the pilgrimage of different kinds of people to St. Thomas Becket Cathedral in Canterbury, and it tells about their stories while on their way to Canterbury.
Tudor lyric poetry. William Shakespeare's work became famous in those times.
William Shakespeare is one of the greatest and one of the most prominent English writers in the Tudor lyric poetry. In fact, he became the royal poet, one of the trusted royal writers of Queen Elizabeth's successor, King James. Here, this is a compilation of all of Shakespeare's work, and here is an example of Shakespeare's literature, Romeo and Juliet. It tells about the love of two persons who are forbidden to fall in love with each other because their family has a feud. In the ending, both of them committed suicide.
Epic poetry. One of the best works in epic poetry is that of Alexander Pope. He is the most regarded comic writer and satirist of English poetry.
Alexander Pope is one of the greatest satirists in the history of Anglo-American literature. Satire is a literature by means of making a news a joke. Sometimes it is also a news that is not true, and it has made out of the jest of the people. Alexander Pope is one of the greatest, also one of the greatest poets in the history of Anglo-American literature. also encountered the fight between Lilliput's enemies, and after so many years, he got back to England.
Victorian novels. Dickens. Charles Dickens is considered as the greatest English novelist of the 19th century.
Charles Dickens is one of the is very famous for writing children's stories, including Christmas carols, and novels that includes Oliver Twist. Oliver Twist tells about the story of Oliver Twist in his quest to live life and to live in a life where society is very tremendous and very confusing.
The beginning of American literature. Famous writers include Edgar Allan Poe and Mark Twain.
The beginning of American literature started with the time when Mark Twain and Edgar Allan Poe became very famous. This is a compilation of Edgar Allan Poe's book, and one of the examples of his literature is The Cask of Amontillado. It tells about revenge and hate. And also Mark Twain is one of the most famous American writers. He wrote Tom Sawyer. It tells about the story of a boy named Tom Sawyer who is lazy, but in time he became very industrious and worked hard during his life as a boy.
Modern literature. 20th century. Famous writers include Cecil Day Lewis and Dylan Thomas.
And now for the modern literature. First, we have Jonathan Swift, Charles Dickens, Edgar Allan Poe, and now Cecil Day Lewis, who uses romanticism or romance or those who want to escape the reality in his literature. Again, I am Amarante.
I'm Shania, Villanueva.
And we discuss about Anglo-American literature. Thank you.